Free knowledge, magnetic flux. This concept is the key to mastering Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction. Alright, so what exactly is magnetic flux? Imagine a common scene. It's raining outside, and the drops are falling straight down. You're holding a round basin. The total amount of rain caught in it is essentially what we call magnetic flux in physics. In this analogy, the rain's density represents magnetic field strength, B. The heavier the rain, the greater the induction. And your round basin represents a plane with area S. The larger the basin, the larger the area, and naturally, the more rain it catches. So, magnetic flux is directly related to B and S. Think of it as the total number of field lines passing through an area. It's denoted by the letter phi equals B times S, and the unit is the Weber. Okay, concept understood, but that's just the beginner level. To score high, you must master these 6 calculation points. Each one is a common exam trap. Point 1, how do we calculate it when B and S aren't perpendicular? Let's go back to the rain scenario. If you tilt the basin, the area that actually catches the raindrops is the projected area. So, when B and S aren't perpendicular, you need to decompose them. There are 2 ways. You can decompose B, or you can decompose S. There's a trick to choosing which one to decompose. If B is vertical but S is tilted, it's easier to decompose S. If S is horizontal but B is tilted, it's easier to decompose B. In short, decompose whichever one is tilted. Point 2. When choosing S, we only count the area within the magnetic field. For example, if a large square coil with side length L is only halfway in the field, then sorry, when calculating flux, you only use the half with field lines. The other half, even if it's made of gold, contributes nothing. Just ignore it. Point 3. Magnetic flux is independent of the number of turns, N. This is where people lose points most easily. Pay attention. As mentioned, flux represents the total number of field lines passing through an area. It only depends on how many lines pass through the frame. Even if 10 or 100 frames are stacked, the total number of lines doesn't change, so the flux stays the same. So don't reflexively multiply the formula by N. Point 4. Magnetic induction is a vector, but magnetic flux is a scalar, and it carries a sign. When calculating changes in flux, many people overlook this. The sign indicates the direction the field lines pass through the area. Since any plane has 2 sides, if lines entering from the front are defined as positive, then those entering from the back are negative. We can choose which is positive or negative as long as we can distinguish the change. And note, the sign just represents different directions. It doesn't mean one is better or larger than the other. So, when comparing the magnitude of 2 fluxes, just compare their absolute values. Point 5. When multiple magnetic fields overlap across an area, the total induction must be calculated by adding those in the same direction and subtracting those in opposite directions. If the problem defines a positive direction, perform algebraic addition using the positive and negative signs. If it's not specified, look at the diagram and add those in the same direction. And for opposite directions, subtract the smaller from the larger. Point 6, here comes the main event, calculating the change in magnetic flux. All the previous groundwork was laid for this, which is also the first step in applying Faraday's law of induction. Step 1. In our study of physics, the change in any physical quantity is calculated as final minus initial. So, the change in magnetic flux is found by first calculating the initial and final flux and then simply subtracting the values. Now that we've learned this, let's try a problem. A square plane is initially in a horizontal position. With area S, there is a uniform magnetic field in space of magnitude B, directed diagonally upward at 30 degrees to the horizontal. When the square plane rotates 90 degrees clockwise, find the magnitude of the change in magnetic flux during this process. I'll be waiting for your answers in the comments.